Just to touch on something a bit serious, because it is breaking news this morning, after years of softening law and order policies here in in Victoria, our current government have done a U-turn, guys.
Yeah.
Somebody feels an election slipping through their fingers.
Yes.
Unbelievably, despite all the agitation from, our show particularly, 18 months we've had a campaign going to
Petition,
have bail reform and have the crime crisis in Melbourne taken care of or at least addressed. The Allan government this morning are announcing adult time for violent crime.
Now, straight away?
Offenders, I think it starts from next year.
No.
Offenders aged 14 and over will face up to 25 years, could be hit with life sentences. This is for particularly these crimes: aggravated home invasion, aggravated carjacking. They now carry life sentences and will apply to offenders aged 14 and over. So it's from next year. Intentionally or recklessly causing injury. And that's the other one at the moment. You've got teenagers, criminals, injuring people, slicing them
with machetes. Yep.
and then being let out. So this is clearly despite the fact, how long ago did we have the Premier in here and she came in with her
February, March.
very soft bail reform, which wasn't actually bail reform. So this just reeks to me of a government that have realised, I'd love to see the behind-the-scenes polls, but they clearly can see with an election campaign coming next year that they were in all sorts, because it's probably the one thing that we're most passionate about in Victoria and Melbourne. And
so these laws come out in an election year, which is next year, right about the time when we go to vote. Is that what they've done?
Yeah, of course. They've said, look what we've done.
That's interesting.
Now, this is, firstly, it needed to be done.
Yeah, 100%.
I'm annoyed at the pace it's taken to be done, and I look at the motives for doing it. But anyway, I just saw Charlie Bazina. We've had Charlie on the show. He's a former police officer who speaks very candidly about these things, and he just made a really interesting point. And he said they can bring this in. The government can introduce this, which is a step in the right direction. We need
100%.
this. But the government, the police force and the courts are still acting independently of each other. So even though you can say that 14-year-old who's just committed an aggravated home invasion, slash somebody, threatened somebody's life, he now requires to be incarcerated for 25 years, that's the sentence. The court may still go,
and that's
he's had a tough life.
And that's what they remember. We've had a few people in. They said it's up to the judge's discretion to hand down, and they go from a law that's in the court, which is different to the law outside. Is that right? James, you know that
they've got something called a bench book, which gives them some guidance on how they should hand out a sentence. So they've got to apply the law, but they do have some discretion.
So one of these kids could go in next year, he's invaded a house, he's slashed someone, and then the judge will be like, oh, geez, he's only 14 and he's only had 15 bails before.
130 usually.
Yeah,
I mean, some of these kids
I'm going to let him go to the juvenile prison out at Parkville, and hopefully he can get rehabilitated. So they can still do that. No matter what the police do or what the government says, they can still do that. They all need to get on one page, rewrite that book and say, hey, because if a new law comes, the judges should have a new law in their book as well. That's what I would think.
Well, you would think. Look, adult time for violent crime is absolutely the direction we have needed to go in.
Yeah.
I'm very sus on the government's motives and
reeks of desperation.
Behind. If that is,
I should have done that when she came in here. Didn't want to come in here. No. We did a petition. 130,000 of our listeners signed the petition. Victoria's had enough. She came in with about 400 pages of notes, and she was impressive. I was like, well, you've come prepared, but did nothing.
Well, also, it's the same government that softened all the laws.
Yeah.
So you softened it all.
Yeah.
Look what happened to our city, and we were still recovering. Like all the people
we don't forget.
that have been traumatised. Even last night I went out for dinner, parking in a street, and just two cars in front of me where I was parked, that's windows are smashed in. Like we're in a city now where you just see cars just smashed, broken into, stolen.
Fifi Fevernick at the Fox. Good morning.